Welcome to Man Story, the place to store emotional love stories. Don't forget to like the video. Share your thoughts in the comments section. And subscribe to stay updated with our latest stories. Wishing you enjoyable, relaxing moments. Thank you. In his absence, the barn became my refuge. A place where solace whispered through the shadows. A love that defies all. Elena burst from the house, her shaking hands gripping her flimsy coat. The biting wind screamed through the fields. Yet she raced toward the barn. Unstoppable. Darkness enveloped her, the faint glow of the lantern outside the barn a distant beacon. Urging her forward, she stopped before the massive wooden door, her heart racing, threatening to explode from her chest. The soft, deliberate sound of hooves shuffled within, a haunting echo that suggested the horse awaited her arrival, as if it sensed her approach long before she stepped inside. Elena swung the door wide, the creak of the hinges shattering the heavy stillness. Shadow loomed, imposing, his piercing black eyes locked onto hers. She gulped, each step toward the horse heavy with tension. The barn's air weighed down on her, each breath and movement pulsing with an unspoken meaning. "You were here, waiting for me, weren't you?" Her voice emerged as a fragile whisper, tender, like a secret laid bare. Shadow tilted his head, a subtle movement that spoke volumes. His gaze pierced through her, a silent connection that left Elena breathless, trapped in its intensity, unable to turn away. After years of silence, she finally felt the weight of being seen and heard, a stark contrast to her time with Jonathan. An intense wave of feeling washed over her, both soothing and dangerous. Her hand grazed Shadow's mane, warmth flooding her fingertips. A connection that ignited something deep within. An electric jolt surged through her spine. In that instant, everything changed for her. Her life was forever altered. The wind howled outside, but Elena was oblivious. All that remained was a profound stillness. Only she and Shadow remained. A growing secret weaving through the darkness, ready to spark into chaos. Elena froze in the barn, her fingers trembling on Shadow's mane. Her eyes wandered into the abyss. She shut her eyes, drawing in the rich aroma of dry hay, moist earth, and the warm breath of the horse beside her. In this serene moment, she sensed a profound escape from everything. The house stood cold and empty. Jonathan's stairs echoed with silence, and her soul was consumed by a relentless loneliness. Memories crashed into her, overwhelming and relentless. Once, Elena thought love could overcome all. Once, she and Jonathan burned bright. A force of nature, unbreakable and wild. She recalled their first encounter. How Jonathan's humor had her laughing so hard that tears flowed down her cheeks. Captivated by his charm, she remembered the flickering flames, where hopes danced in the shadows of a promising tomorrow. Once, Jonathan vowed to stand by her, crafting a life they would treasure forever. Yet, as time slipped away, those promises turned into mere echoes of a distant dream. Jonathan immersed himself in his work, seeking solace in the chaos. Meetings dragged on, business trips blurred into one another, and Elena lost track of the last dinner they shared. His phone buzzing like a relentless reminder of their distance. Each return felt like welcoming an unfamiliar ghost. He entered, tossed his bag aside, embraced her briefly, then vanished behind his laptop's glow. Elena fought with every ounce of her being to cling to hope. She crafted candlelit dinners, attempted to rekindle their lost words. Yet Jonathan brushed her off with a familiar, exhausted sigh. "I'm too tired. Elena, can we talk soon?" But the moment never arrived. She once thought time would mend all wounds, but it only deepened the divide between them. Jonathan had his flaws, but he wasn't evil. He wasn't unfaithful, nor was he angry or neglectful in the usual way. His indifference consumed Elena, leaving her to feel like a mere shadow in her own marriage. When Jonathan bought Shadow, she believed it was merely another passing whim of his. Shadow was the sole spark in Elena's dull existence. In the horse's deep, soulful eyes, she discovered a long-lost peace that surged through her heart. Yet, it was more than that. Elena's mind raced back to that unforgettable moment when she first laid eyes on Daniel. The horse trainer Jonathan had brought in. Daniel was a powerful presence, her piercing gaze cutting through pretense, while an undercurrent of deep sorrow whispered of her hidden scars. Daniel's silence was heavy, but her words pierced through, striking at the truths Elena had desperately evaded. That afternoon lingered in her mind, she and Daniel outside the barn. Words heavy with the weight of shadow. Daniel's eyes pierced through Elena, stripping away every facade, as she uttered a sentence that would haunt Elena forever. Horses like shadow perceive truths that humans dare not acknowledge. Loneliness can create the deepest connections. In that moment, Elena merely smiled, dismissing it with a flicker of indifference. Now, standing before shadow, Daniel's words reverberated in her mind, haunting and inevitable. She fought the truth, but maybe Daniel was right all along. Her loneliness, the void Jonathan left, pulled her toward shadow, inch by inch. Her fingers glided gently through Shadow's mane, warmth radiating beneath her touch. "You know, Shadow," she whispered, "there are moments I long to be a horse. Just like you, nothing to fear, no struggles ahead, only liberation." Shadow remained silent, yet his eyes spoke volumes of understanding. In that instant, a brief wave of relief washed over Elena. But inside, she was aware. Everything shifted, and retreat was impossible. Moonlight spilled over the fields, casting a haunting glow on the narrow path to the barn. Elena moved deliberately, each step drawn by an unseen power toward shadow. The wind howled, biting and fierce, but she remained unbothered. A storm raged within her, a fierce and confusing pull, as her heart beckoned her toward the unknown, leaving her mind in turmoil. The barn door swung open, its hinges crying out in the heavy silence of the night. Shadow lingered, his dark, piercing eyes glinting in the moonlight. In that instant, Elena sensed everything around her fade away. Jonathan had vanished. The chilling phone calls and the solitary, infinite nights were gone. It was just her and Shadow. A bond so deep it needed no words. "You were here for me again, weren't you?" she whispered, her voice a fragile secret, barely escaping her lips. She moved in, her fingers lightly grazing Shadow's glossy black mane. The horse's warm breath brushed against her. A silent comfort, a gentle promise in the stillness. Her fingers danced over his sleek coat, a tender touch that ignited a sense of connection. Her chest lightened, a rare calm washing over her, almost alien in its presence. But then, everything changed. Elena couldn't remember what drove her to that moment. Maybe it was the depth in Shadow's gaze or the subtle angle of his head that recognized her gentle touch. The storm raged within her, loneliness, yearning, an unfillable void. Her hand lingered on his face, palm resting softly against his warmth. She shut her eyes, inhaling deeply, yet her breath quivered with unspoken fear. Shadow, his name escaped her lips. A moment of realization, heavy with unspoken feelings. The horse trembled, bowing its head in silent acknowledgement. His stillness held a depth that pierced through Elena's thoughts, making her feel utterly exposed. His gaze locked onto hers, profound, accepting, and expectant of nothing. She was a force, pulling her in, impossible to resist. Her breath quickened, she edged nearer, the gap between them a painful void demanding connection. A tense silence hung between them, heavy with unspoken anticipation. Her hand found Shadow's chest, sensing the strong, relentless beat of his heart beneath her touch. Yet her heart raced wildly, a chaotic drumbeat on the verge of breaking her calm. For the first time, she silenced her thoughts. Every shred of reason, every moral compass, and all logic fell silent. She faced the unfiltered storm of her feelings, a part of her long buried now clawing to the surface. A tiny shift, a breath held tight. Elena's world shattered in an instant. She had vanished, leaving only a shadow behind. Elena had released her emotional burdens. She was someone seeking clarity, overwhelmed by feelings that were foreign and overwhelming. A whisper shattered the silence. Elena recoiled, as though pulled from a haunting nightmare. A flicker of light pierced the barn's darkness, freezing her heart in place. In that moment, Daniel filled the doorway, his piercing gaze locked onto Elena. Sharp and unyielding, silence hung heavy, but Elena felt the weight of Daniel's gaze. She knew. The barn's air was icy, suffocating. Daniel stood frozen. Her face held a blend of shock and icy analysis, as if she were assembling the fragments of the moment she had just entered. Elena's lips parted, but silence swallowed her voice. Her breath hung in the frigid night, a silent confession waiting to be released. Shame, Guilt and fear crushed her heart. Yet deep within, an unexpected relief washed over her. She felt a surge of relief, her secret was finally shared. No longer a weight she had to carry alone. Elena. Daniel's voice shattered the stillness. Steady yet powerful. What are you up to? The question sliced through the silence. Sharp and unforgiving. Daniel entered the barn, each step deliberate, heavy with intent. Elena faltered, yet Shadow remained steadfast, a solid presence amidst the chaos swirling around her. I don't know. Elena stammered, her voice quaking with uncertainty. Daniel halted mere feet away, her piercing stare drilling into Elena's core. Do you see where this is going? Daniel asked, her voice a whisper, yet each word struck hard. Elena, you're dancing with flames, and when they consume you, nothing will remain to save. Elena was silent. She stood frozen, locked in a gaze with Daniel. As a storm of emotions raged within her, she realized Daniel was right. She felt the weight of those words deep within her. Yet, despite the awareness, she pressed on. Not right now. Not after she had stepped over a boundary she believed was unbreakable. Daniel faced Elena, her eyes cutting through the air like a knife. The barn's tension wrapped around Elena, suffocating her, stealing her breath away. She was trapped in Daniel's gaze, unable to escape the truth of what had just unfolded, with no words to defend her choices. Did you honestly believe this would remain hidden, Elena? Daniel's voice held firm, pulsing with unspoken fury. Did you really believe no one would see the shift in you? Your eyes change each time you step out of this barn. Elena stepped back, gripping Shadow's mane tightly, her lifeline against the chaos within. Yet Shadow, the horse she once thought knew her soul, now remained mute. Silence envelops. Stillness reigns. A distant gaze, silently observing all, yet forever out of reach. I didn't mean to. Elena gasped, her voice trembling. Her words felt like whispers in the void. She couldn't escape the truth of Daniel's vision. Yet, she struggled to express the overwhelming tide of emotion that engulfed her. A relentless whirlwind pulling her under. Didn't intend to? Daniel's laugh pierced the silence, sharp and laced with bitter irony. Elena, this has been brewing for a long time. This is your decision, and you are fully aware of the consequences. Daniel's words hit Elena hard, a punch to the gut, igniting a fierce determination within her as she teetered on the brink. The tempest within her, shame, anger, a fierce longing, rose, ready to explode. What does it matter to you? Elena's voice erupted, sharper than she meant, teetering on the edge of a shout. This is my existence. You can't possibly understand my struggles. The weight of my solitude is crushing. Daniel's gaze remained unflinching. You're absolutely right. I don't know everything, she replied, her voice low, laden with unspoken weight. Yet, I am certain of this. You're tearing yourself apart, and affecting those around you with you. Elena stood vulnerable, utterly laid bare. She stood frozen, caught in Daniel's chilling stare and the suffocating quiet of Shadow. All her justifications, all her excuses, now lay shattered and hollow. She was a prisoner, overwhelmed by emotions that spiraled beyond her grasp. Jonathan will never understand, Elena whispered, her voice heavy with emotion. She averted her gaze, the moonlight slicing through the barn's cracks illuminating her tear-streaked face. He's always been a stranger to my soul. No, not at all. Is this really your reason? Daniel moved in, the space between them vanishing with each heartbeat. Elena, I'm not here to judge. But you must see the truth. Your actions won't lead to the liberation you believe they will. It will only deepen the pain. Elena's heart raced, a storm brewing inside her. She longed to scream, to make Daniel see the truth. How could she possibly refute the truth in Daniel's words? How could she face the truth that she had crossed an unforgiving line? A sharp sound shattered the stillness, slicing through the quiet with brutal force. Elena froze, her heart racing as she turned sharply toward the sound. The car's headlights cut through the night, a sharp blade in the vast, consuming darkness. Jonathan, her heart stopped, a chill enveloping her, frozen in place. Daniel's eyes met Elena's, a flicker of warmth breaking through her steely facade. A spark of unexpected empathy ignited in her gaze. You must choose, Daniel said, her voice softer yet unwavering. In this moment, Confront your actions, or drown further in the chaos. Alina's heart raced as Jonathan's car approached, the headlights slicing through the darkness, revealing her terrified expression against the barn wall. Uncertainty gripped her, words and actions eluded her grasp. Every secret, every buried feeling, hung precariously on the edge of revelation. Daniel declared one final time, her voice steady and resolute. This is your moment to decide. And only you hold that power. Alina's gaze flickered from Daniel to Shadow, then darted back to the oncoming headlights. Her mind raged like a tempest, yet her heart beat with a fierce clarity, striving to lead her through the chaos. In that instant, she understood there was no escape left. The headlights sliced through the night, revealing the barn door and casting Alina's anxious face in sharp relief. She froze, the world around her fading into silence. Daniel stepped back, creating room for Alina, yet she remained. Daniel's piercing gaze, once icy and unrelenting, now radiated a quiet intensity, as if she were bracing for Alina's ultimate choice. The car halted, mere inches from the barn's shadow. Jonathan emerged, his towering silhouette stretching beneath the blinding headlights. The car door crashed closed, and an oppressive silence enveloped everything. He paused, eyes darting around, then stepped toward the barn. "Alina, are you there?" Jonathan called, his voice steady, as it always was. To Alina, it was thunder shattering the silence of the night. She faced him, their gazes locking. In a heartbeat, she understood. He held a secret. Perhaps it was lost in translation. It was a fleeting sensation. Yet he was certain. "I couldn't sleep," she confessed, her voice steadying, yet the tremor in her breath revealed the truth. "I needed to see how Shadow is doing." Jonathan entered the barn, his gaze flickering between Alina and Daniel, who lingered nearby, a quiet specter in the dim light. His brows knitted together, eyes darting between the two women, sensing the thick, unspoken tension that filled the small room. "What's happening?" he asked, eyes piercing, voice laced with urgency. Daniel remained silent. Alina understood she never would. It was time to confront reality, to confront the weight of all she had fought to hide. All eyes were on her, and she sensed every path collapsing into a singular, piercing focus. She could deceive once more, extending the crushing weight of hidden truths and remorse, or she could face it head-on. The shame, the pain, the raw vulnerability she had long dreaded confronting. Her eyes darted to Daniel, whose serene face masked a fierce defiance. Then to Jonathan, whose worried eyes held a flicker of doubt she couldn't shake off. She realized the chase had to end. "Jonathan," she started, her voice heavy with feeling. "I have to share something with you." Jonathan stood still, confusion flickering in his narrowed gaze. He remained silent. He stood frozen, his eyes pierced through to her soul. Daniel averted her gaze, retreating a step, offering them a moment alone. Alina remained in the barn, a deep breath caught in her chest, words choking her silence. She recalled the moments she had vanished, the times she gazed into Shadow's eyes and discovered the comfort Jonathan could never provide. Yearning, shame, desperation, each feeling clawed at her. If she remained silent now, they would bind her for eternity. "I felt so alone, Jonathan," she whispered, her voice breaking, tears cascading down her cheeks. "It clings to me, a shadow I can't shake off. With you, with us, it all feels meaningless now." Jonathan paused, silence hanging heavy in the air. He stood there, eyes locked on hers, desperate to unearth the truth hidden in her words. "What do you mean, Alina?" His voice dropped, each syllable heavy with meaning. "I've sought solace where I shouldn't," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. I can't find my path. Jonathan, I can't quite put it into words. But I've gone too far." Jonathan recoiled, disbelief flickering in his eyes. "Crossed a boundary?" he whispered again, his voice hoarse, almost lost. Alina's heart tightened, gripped by an unseen force. "I can't find the words," she whispered. "I realize I've crossed a line. And there's no turning back now." She steeled herself for Jonathan's fury, expecting a shout or a door slam. But he remained silent. He stood frozen, eyes locked on her, his expression a whirlwind of feelings she couldn't grasp. At last, he uttered a word, his tone deep and weighty. "Alina, do you still love me?" That question broke through her last remaining walls. Elena gazed at him, tears cascading down her cheeks. I just don't know, Jonathan. I'm lost now. I need to rediscover it. I need to know why we've turned into this. Elena's voice quivered, suspended like a delicate thread in the silence. Daniel stayed quiet, yet Elena sensed her there. Unwavering and resolute, absorbing it all. Jonathan averted his gaze, exiting the barn in silence. His silhouette vanished in the car's headlights, leaving Elena hollower than ever before. Daniel drew near, her piercing gaze now infused with an unexpected warmth. You did the right thing, she whispered, her voice steady yet filled with weight. Elena remained silent. She faced Shadow, rooted in place, his intense, dark eyes locked onto hers, as if they contained the secrets she desperately sought. She moved in, her fingers brushing his mane softly. A final farewell. In that instant, clarity struck her like lightning. She had to escape the barn, break free from the shadows that had consumed her for far too long. Under the moon's icy light, Elena turned away, burdened by pain and regret, yet clinging to a fragile spark of hope. A flicker of hope, a yearning to rediscover her true self.